On ABC2, Chief Meteorologist Wyatt Everhart back with you for a live stream update here on today's winter weather. I was just taking a look at some of the observations down in southern Maryland. We do have basically, I'm just pulling up all the new obs. We do have ice in Patuxent River. We also have freezing rain coming down through southern Calvert County. So yes, we do have a continued winter situation, and certainly it's a snow situation as it has been most of the day in Baltimore still. Let's zoom in a little bit here and show you what we're seeing, and we're still seeing some pretty heavy snow bands. That's the bottom line. Westminster, you're getting a good an additional surge of snow. Same thing in Howard County. Same thing in the Baltimore County. You're just being overspread by that heavier snow band. Now look, the city's still getting snow, as is the northern eastern shore, Kingstown north into Kent County and Cecil County. We have a little bit of mixing, at least radar indicated mixing, as far north as Severna Park, but I don't think that it's really reaching quite that far north yet based on surface observations. It's still, remember, radar's just estimating that. It's still down here in the more southern part of the state. So look, there's going to be some ice on top of the snow for a part of the state. I don't know if the whole state changes over or not. It could be that this stays mainly a converting situation south and east of 95, which is always where we put more of the ice to occur. I mean, you see a pretty sharp snow ice line. In a big factor here is that the Arctic air that's just locked in still, the back edge of that Arctic dome is still having an influence. Now look, we've obviously warmed up on the lower eastern shore. They are getting actual rain, which is a wild change when you consider Ocean City was 6 below zero last night. It's always been a tricky one. Look, the winter weather alerts were expanded earlier today to include Anne Arundel, Cecil, and PG counties. Initially, there was Carroll County West. Now you see it's Cecil County West. So 95 really wasn't so much the cutoff as areas just east of 95. Kind of a line from Cecilton to Annapolis to southern PG County. It was kind of where the cutoff for the more significant winter. But I mean, it's a travel nightmare. I mean, major headaches on the roads, lock grid, and my golly, let's take a look out to the west right now. This is real time, live traffic, and I mean, obviously you don't want to be out there in that right now, and look, I can tell it's moving, but you know, not well, and you're talking trips that should take minutes are going to take hours in a lot of cases, so something to factor in there. And then in other parts of the Beltway, where things are not as, say, gridlocked, what we do have are still snow-covered conditions with more snow coming down. You can see it on that light to the right. So very slow-moving traffic, even where it's clear, and it's not clear at all on secondary roads, I can tell you that. Still major headaches. Baltimore City, MDOT issuing all kinds of travel alerts and warnings. There are abandoned vehicles all over the city, and they're creating significant blockages and making it basically impossible to clear those roadways. Here's the JFX, and you see, I mean, it's you know, it's not moving well. Apparently, some of the ramps, there's a very slow-moving vehicle on the ramp. Look at that. It's backing up. That vehicle to the left part of your screen, backing down the ramp, because I can guarantee you there's a vehicle stuck at the top of that ramp, and he is now trapped. Okay, there's a vehicle stuck in front of me. I can't go forward. I got to try to get back on the freeway in reverse. Extremely dangerous. I mean, all it takes is one person to try to exit there. This is why we say don't even attempt to go out tonight unless it's a true emergency in nature. Your wife's in labor. I mean, it's got to be something really critical to mess with these roads, at least for a few more hours. Let the plows at least have a chance to work. Okay, that's the traffic scenario. We've talked about that. And by the way, in spots, that visibility is still low. It's improving in areas, but we're still a half mile in Frederick, under a mile in Essex, and about a mile in Elkton, so there's still some heavy snow areas. And look, the bottom line is, even if we get the changeover all the way north in the state to sleet and freezing rain, it's not helpful, because the ground temps are so far below freezing. This stuff is all just going to freeze up. It's going to ice coat the accumulation you already have. I mean, that's all it's going to do, and that's going to be a real headache. Thank goodness it looks like a chance to melt some of this tomorrow as we at least get into the mid or upper 30s and clean up and shovel, because after that a new Arctic freeze comes in. It's going to lock in everything in place. Winds are out of the south right now. That should be a warming wind, but so far it hasn't done a whole lot. Now, we come out here to the satellite radar perspective, and again, there's a significant section of moisture still out to the west. There's some pretty decent warming out to the west, and you know, it's all about how far and how fast that warm air can reach. But in the meantime, we are in a significant winter storm situation across the Baltimore area, across central Maryland, and we're going to see how this goes. Overall, again, it's ugly out there, and the additional snows, which could come down another 2 inches or so, many spots now in 6 to 8. So many spots could end up in a 6 to 10 inch range. There it is, you know, through Sunday morning. Now realize there'll be some icing on top of this. If we get some freezing rain, that'll kind of pack down some of the snow, maybe make it briefly seem like less. But before the ice hits, I think we could reach these totals. And obviously the storm overperformed. It ramped up, and really being an unprecedented winter weather territory with that Arctic freezing condition we had, just I think threw the models off, and we always said that that was a possibility, that we just wouldn't get the change over to ice. Most of those models had us flipping to, believe it or not, ice by mid-afternoon and rain by now. And we knew we weren't going to get rain by now, but we did think we could see ice by, say, early evening. That hasn't happened yet. Snow continues, then ice, then we taper off. I mean, that's how we see the evening unfolding. And in the meantime, it's basically going to be, you know, heck on the road. And I really would rather use the stronger word there, because I experienced it coming in today, and it was adrenaline, not the good kind. Anyway, there it is for you. One last look at the radar picture. I mean, we're certainly seeing a more pronounced sleet. Well, this is probably more freezing rain than sleet at this point. It's a fairly shallow layer, but you know, I just don't know that Baltimore northward is going to change over in the next hour. I think it could take a couple of hours, and that's a couple more inches.